So that's a good practice to get into, guys. And I'm curious on what tags you chose. Hey guys, what's going on? This is a tutorial on HTML. This is the fundamental building blocks of the web. For software engineering, you need to learn HTML. I will say not every software engineer in their professional career is using HTML, but every professional software engineer should know HTML. It's the fundamental building block of the web, of many web frameworks, especially front-end engineering, whether using JavaScript, React, Vue down the road, Angular, any of these bigger React eco or JavaScript frameworks, the JavaScript framework ecosystem, you need to know HTML. So that's what this tutorial is about. It's about teaching you guys the fundamentals of HTML. Make sure to crush it. And I'm going to show you just some quick tricks and go-to HTML tags that I always use, even at the highest scales of engineering, whether it's using it in React Native builds, Next.js builds, in my SaaS application, or things I've literally built for companies. I'm going to teach you all of my tricks, all of my go-to simple tricks. So I hope it's helpful. Let's dive in. So to get started, you're going to need VS Code. So if you don't have Visual Studio Code, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. I'm going to tag this into the description. I'll also have the code base in GitHub, and all these things. And guys, if you don't know what those are, if you don't know what GitHub is, don't worry about it. I'll have a tutorial coming out on that as well. But step one, you are going to need to get Visual Studio Code. Go to this link, code.visualstudiocode, and download it for your machine. Whether you're using Mac or Windows or Linux, you're going to need Visual Studio Code. Okay, so then once you download that, let's see if I can get the bottom bar to pop up for me. Let's see, I always have this issue. But you can see, just because I have three screens, so this screen is always hard to get the Visual Studio Code. But if you look at my bottom bar, if you look on the left, there's the Finder icon, there's the Safari icon, the Google Chrome, the Apple Music, the Docker icon, the MongoDB icon, and then that backwards, almost fish-looking guy, that is going to be your Visual Studio Code. So find it in your applications folder, fire that thing up, and you should have a screen that looks somewhat like this. And this is going to be your VS Code. It may be completely blank, guys. You're doing the right thing. So step one, or step two, I guess, would be to build a folder. Over here, I've named my folder, so I just right click and press new folder, right, and name it here whatever I need. I'm going to go ahead and trash this one, but I've already gone ahead and built a folder, and it says HTML tutorial. Excuse me, guys. I got some Belvita bar in my teeth. I just ate some of it. It's so good. But okay, so HTML tutorial. I need that folder here. I'm taking this folder now, and I'm just going to drag and drop it into my VS Code. Or you can even go up here and open this folder through your file path as well. So if you've done that, you should be looking at still the similar thing. The biggest thing is you just need to see that folder name right at the top, whichever you named it. Totally keep HTML tutorial. That's perfectly fine for now as well. So over here on the left, we have our Explorer. I'm going to extend this open now. I have my Explorer, and you can see that I have a few tabs. There's the open editors. There's the open the folder one right here. There's the outline. There's the timeline. We want to open up the folder one. And again, this is going to be the top tab at the very, very top. So click this. If you're on a different screen, click this Explorer one, and then open up the HTML tutorial tab. Within the HTML tutorial tab, I want to click on this new file icon, or I can right click right here and click on new file. Either or should work. So I can click this guy, boom, that'll do a new file, or I could say new file right here. It's two approaches for the same problem, right? And from this point forward, I want to name the file index.html. And this index.html file is going to be where majority of our web structure is compiled to. So HTML there's kind of three buckets when you're talking about web engineering. You have the first bucket, which is your HTML. You have the second bucket, which is going to be your CSS. Then you have the third bucket, which is going to be your JavaScript. Those are the three biggest buckets when you talk about building on the web. And the first bucket, HTML, is the structure of the web. The second bucket is going to be the styling of the web. The third bucket is going to be the logic and functionality of the web. So between these three buckets, the first one, and that is what we're learning today, is HTML. HTML is going to be, if we're metaphorically building, I've said this in another JavaScript tutorial. If we're building a house, the HTML is the equivalent of the foundation. It's the 2x4s. It's the nailing the 2x4s together. It's the rough structure. It's the infrastructure of a house. It's not the prettiest part of the house. It's not the walls. It's not the painting. It's not the nice garden. The HTML is just the rough structure of where things go. CSS is going to be that painting. It's going to be the coloring of the walls, choosing the right shutter patterns, all that stuff. And the JavaScript bucket is going to be your functionality. So when you flip on a light switch, when you turn on the water and the water works, those are all functions. But we're focused on the first bucket again, the HTML, the infrastructure of the web. And what I want to do is show you guys how to code out a snippet for HTML. So in VS Code, if you just do exclamation point, you can see we have this IntelliSense pop up here. And if you don't worry, it's not a big deal right now. I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and I'm going to get the HTML snippet. If your IntelliSense did not pop that up when you pressed exclamation point, don't worry about it. Just make sure to pause right now and type this out. So go ahead and just copy it out and say this doc type and HTML, and just type all of this out real quick. So go ahead and pause that. And what I want to look at in this HTML snippet is we're telling the DOM what file this is. We're telling the DOM what language it's in English. We have a head tag, so this is at the top of your tabs when you go on a website, and at the very top of the tab it says the name of the website you're on. You can configure a lot of that metadata in this header tag. So, and we're looking at the character set, the UTF-8 character set. That's our American characters, if you will, or English characters. We're looking at the content width and the initial scale. This is all the metadata that's kind of attached with this document. And then you can see we have this body tag, and the body tag is largely where majority of our coding will go. Majority of the time, kind of the configurations in the header tag. We'll maybe mess with these things one or two times throughout a project, but the majority of your code is going to exist in the body tag. So let's talk about a few tags that exist in HTML. We have a few things that we can address and build within the body tag. So the body tag is just the content painting on the page, the infrastructure content on the page. And we have a tag like H1, and this stands for header 1. And we can say this is a header. And you can see I pressed Command Save, and my formatter reformatted the code. So you may not have that. Let me take a beat real quick and have you guys download Prettier. Prettier is a code formatter that you can download in your extensions tab as well. And what that does, you could see it just automatically respaces your code. Let's say if your code's all out of space, if you press Command and Save, it'll auto format your code so it's all consistent, looks the same, it's concise, it's a clean way of writing software. So you definitely want to download that, and then if you go to Shift Command P and feel free to go on Google if there's a struggle here. Just Google how to configure Prettier in my VS Code. I'll even have a settings video coming out. But for those on Mac, you can press Shift Command and P, and then go to JSON settings and click on this one, Preferences, Open User Settings, JSON. And you want it to, let's see, format on save. We want to make sure our prettier is configured right here. But the biggest editing thing, guys, you can ignore all these other things, is you want, let me show you guys this one. You want to write this in your object is going to more than likely look much different. I have a lot of stuff going on here, so you may not have anything in it, but you want to make sure that editor.format on save is true. So it's just a setting that we're adding, and you just want to say true. And if you're having problems with this step, totally don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world for writing code. And you know, and if you want to configure it, leave a comment. I'll happily build a video around it, and it's not a huge deal for me. But let's zoom back into our HTML document. So this HTML document, it is showing us that there's a header right here, and this is in our H1 tag. So the tag itself is giving the document a little bit of structure and letting us know, okay, this is our first header, which every website should have an H1 in it. Then we have other tags like P for paragraph. So this can be a paragraph. This is where you'd obviously put your paragraph data. And there's other tags as well, even beyond H1. There's H2. So that's a smaller header. This is a subheader, right? You have other things as well. Below the P tag, we have A tags, right? And this would be a website link. So this would be a website link. And within the A tag, we also have to declare where this A tag is going. And it takes something called an attribute. And the attribute is called an href for this tag. And this href this is where we'd put our URL. So if you want this to be a clickable link, you would use an A tag, and in the href, let's say we wanted to go to google.com, you would put google.com right here in the href, or http://google.com. Or in fact, I can go ahead and copy this Visual Studio Code URL, and I would put it right here, right? So boom, https code.visualstudiocode, and every time we click on that link, I would get redirected to this website. So this is a little bit of HTML in a nutshell. What we want to do next is fire open a live server, and we want to see this on the screen. We don't want to worry about it being pretty right now. We don't want to worry about colors. We don't want to worry about it being nice and good looking. We want it ugly as ever. We just want to see this on screen. So what I want to do is navigate over to my extensions on the left. You can see that, sorry guys, still have some stuff in my teeth. But you can see that we have extensions on the left. Again, you have your Explorer, Search, Source Control, Run and Debug, and then our extensions. You want to go to search bar or go to the search bar and look for live server and download this extension. This extension is going to allow us, you can see it right here. It's going to allow us to run our server from VS Code locally. So we can locally test and see what we're building on our machine. So if you've done that correctly, you should be able to see a go live tab at the bottom of the screen here. If not, there should be, if you press Command and then L and then O, it should fire open your live server. So I'll see if that works. VS Code needs to, and let's see. And then if I click on this, it should fire it open. Let's see if that works still. I know I can click this to go live. I want to, and this is what my live server looks like. So we could see all those things that we just wrote. Let me reshape this and resize this all real quick. But let's just double check real quick. Let me Google how to run live server. in VS Code. Okay, let's see. Just if you're having issues on this, I want to find you guys a quick solution right here. So we have looks like F1 or Control Shift P and type live server. So let's try that. If we say Control Shift P, or on Mac, maybe it's Control Command P and say live server. So it looks like that works too. You can press Shift Command P on Mac, or it looks like Control Shift P on Windows, and look for live server and say open with live server, and that fired open a server as well. Like I mentioned, there was a tab at the bottom of my screen that said go live, and I think there's a key command as well. So there should be three solutions for you. And the reason why I'm showing you the Google process of hey, just Google something. If you're having troubles in these tutorials, totally leave a comment, totally Google stuff, use ChatGPT. Like, do not be afraid to explore and mess things up. It's not a big deal, and bounce around and search on Google for solutions. Like, you need to get into that practice, especially in software engineering, because a lot of your job, your profession is being a professional problem solver. That is what software engineers are largely paid for, is you need to come up with solutions. So hopefully there's 2 or 3 solid solutions for you guys there to open up a live server. And you can see on the right here, let me even zoom in a little bit on VS Code. You can see that our H1 is being rendered. Everything in this body tag is being shown on the page to the right. So we have, this is a header for the H1. We have, this is a subheader that goes below the H1, the H2 maybe. Then we have, this can be a paragraph. So maybe that's all paragraph details of your website. And then we have this would be a website link. So I can click on this and you can see we got redirected to this visualstudiocode.com. But maybe I don't want to be redirected. Maybe I want to open up a new window when I click it. So what I would then do is say target, and then I would say equals, quotes, and put a underscore there. You can say underscore blank like this, or you can just do underscore. Either or is fine. And what this does is now when I click the link, it'll actually open up a new window for me. So it doesn't redirect that page. It just opens up a new window. Guys, so this is a little bit about HTML. The next tag I want to teach you guys, there are 2 tags, but largely of the 2, I want to teach you the div tag. That is the most powerful tag that I consistently use to this day. And it's div. And what it is, it's basically similar to these other tags. You have a header, you have a subheader, you have a p tag, you have an a tag. This kind of represents a link. A div tag is kind of an empty tag. You can use it for so many things. You can use it to nest other tags. You can use all these tags for different things, but I always gravitate to the div tag for majority of my builds. So I might even say this is a div tag here. And within the div tag, you can even nest other tags. So I can have another div tag even and say this is a nested div tag. Nested meaning it just exists in between this div tag, right? So they're related to each other, if you will. There's a parent to child relationship is what that's called. This would be the parent. This is a parent div, and this would be a child. This is a child div. Boom, just like that. And the child exists within the parent. So, and that's super important. That's a good concept to understand in the future is things that exist within a tag. So you can see that there's there's this opening bit between a tag. There's the opening p tag, and then there's the closing p tag. This would be the children content the things in between the two outer tags, if you will. So that's all that's happening here is we have this outer tag, right? And I can actually delete all this text just to further the point. We have this outer tag with inner tags within it, and that inner tag, this is the child, and this outer tag, right? This one and this one would be the parent. So super important to understand that concept early on. This little guy right here, the one in between, is the child. Guys, now with this being said, gravitate to the div tags. These things are going to be your friend. Use them everywhere. And then there's also going to be one more tag I want to teach you guys today, which is the span tag. So there's, well, actually I can teach you a few more as well. So the span tag is similar to a div tag, but it's inline block scope. You don't need to worry about it too much. For now, just gravitate to the div tags. We'll kind of cover spans down the road. But the next tag I do want to show you guys is you can wrap these words with other tags. So you have an emphasis tag. You can do an EM to emphasize, kind of make something italic. I can wrap this tag around the header right here, and we can see that the header goes to be italic. I believe we could do B for bold, and we could say this is a subheader to make that area, well, the headers are already bold, so that's not going to change anything. But if we go to the paragraph tag, we can wrap this paragraph with B, and it should make it bold just like that. So we have these other embellishing tags with texts, if you will. So yeah, guys, let me give you a little bit of an assignment for you guys to put this in practice. It's not going to be anything crazy. It could be as ugly as ever, but I want you to build a little profile of you. And I want you to look up one more tag that I haven't taught you. And I want you to build a profile that says your name. So instead of this is a header, I want it to say your name. For the subheader, I want it to say I am a software engineer, maybe your occupation, if you will. And then for the paragraph, I want you to write just a small bio about yourself, and then link it to your favorite YouTube video. I think that's a perfectly adequate assignment. And then I'll give you guys a moment right here to pause the video and do that. So those four things, your, let me see, your name, let me write it out. Your name, I am a software engineer. This bio, I love to go on runs and work out. I love to write software. And I have a YouTube channel called Program with Pegs. Boom. Look at that. And let me find my favorite YouTube video. I'm going to delete these div tags, if you will. Let's see, a favorite YouTube video of mine. Let me think. And then the other part of the assignment was to find one more tag that I haven't taught you guys. So and that's a self thing, and I'll add one tag that I haven't taught you guys yet. So I think I'm going to do the image tag. My favorite YouTube video. Let's see. Let me find a good one. Right? Let me see. What's a good YouTube video, guys? What's a good? Oh my gosh, I got a funny one. I got a good one, guys. I've got a good one. So, I don't know if I should tell you guys or have you download the repository and see what this YouTube video is. It's great. It's fantastic. I'll tell you that much. It is a good one. So I'll leave this into the repository if you want to see my favorite YouTube video. I left it here. It's absolutely hilarious. It's kind of sad, but it's kind of absolutely funny too. So I'll leave it here. And then the last tag I want to add is going to be this image tag. So the image tag is if we want to show images on the screen. And let's see, I want to show an image of a deer. So I've now Googled a deer image, and we have this SRC attribute and we have this alt attribute as well. So the SRC, this is going to be the source of this image. The alt tag is going to be used if the image is not uploadable. So instead of deer, instead of Google, let me, I can go to Unsplash, I believe it is, or Upsplash, one of the two. Well, actually, I don't know. Let's see if this will work. Usually I do this another way with React, with React and Next.js, but let's see if it'll work into HTML. So I'm going to go ahead and find an image of a deer I like. So here's a deer right here. I'm going to go save this image. I'm going to name it, right? So I'll say deer image, and I want to put it on my desktop or downloads folder. That's fine. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I now have that in my downloads folder. I'm going to exit out of this extension live server up top. I'm going to open up my Explorer tab. And over here on the left, I am going to import, right click and say new folder. And I'm going to name this folder assets. I'm going to go to my downloads and I'm going to drag this deer image into the assets folder. So what I want to do is now link this image to that assets folder. Let's see if this will work. So I'm going to say dot slash. So if I said dot slash, that goes one scope up. I'll kind of teach you guys more about that in a moment down the road. But if I say dot slash, I'm saying this folder level. So let me explain that actually a little bit better. I'll just teach you guys right now. So if I say new folder, right? And then if I say child file, right? Or children file, right? .html. When I say dot slash, and you can see my IntelliSense, go to that scope. And then if I want to access that child file, this is the path I would build to do that. So the dot slash means I'm at the file I'm currently in is at this scope, and I want to look adjacent. I want to look adjacent to these things. That's what the dot slash means. If I say dot slash, it means go up one more scope, which would be my desktop, and I can see all my desktop files. And then I can even say dot slash again to go up to my root user and see all my root user files. But I don't want to do that. I just want to access the assets folder. So I'm going to delete this. I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm going to delete the new folder and everything in it. And I'm going to say src equals dot slash, and I'm going to say assets. That's the path I want. And the deer dash image JPEG like this. And that should pop up this deer image right here. And then for an alt tag, I can say image of a deer. So if for whatever reason this image was inaccessible, it would say the alternative tag image of a deer. That's what this text means. And majority of websites do need an alt tag. It helps for SEO. It helps for the ALI compliance, for accessibility. It's a good practice to do to put an alt tag. And many JavaScript frameworks and ESLinters actually will prevent you from pushing code if you don't have an alt tag. So, or they'll throw an orange underline at the very least and give you a warning that you need an alt tag. So that's a good practice to get into, guys. And I'm curious on what tags you chose, but if you want to explore more, just go to your Google and say HTML tags. And you can see that there's a list of HTML tags that you can choose from. There's a ton of them: address, applet, sections, areas, text areas, base, BRs for line breaks, buttons, canvases, captions. There's so much to do. So spend a little time, build a button right here. You could say, I am a button, right? And you can see that button pops up right here. You can click it. Yeah, so add a few tags, try a few things out. Yeah, and I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. Thank you so much. This is the start of front end engineering. It's super essential to understand HTML, and from here we can build so much off of HTML. It's the infrastructure of the web. So I hope you learned something here. And guys, thank you so much. I'm excited to teach you on the next one. Cheers.